Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Badass Ladies Club. My name is Jessica. We are here with Laurie Wallace.
Oh,
Kellen, Kortni from Purple Rain.
hello.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this conversation.
In studio, guys.
Yes.
So before we get started, what would be so cool is if you would like, rate, review, share this podcast, take a screenshot of it and put it on your stories. We'll repost it for you. We love all the feedback, and we are not going to waste any time because holy shit, Kortni and Kellen are here.
So exciting.
Yay.
So exciting. So we are all working in this alchemy together with our businesses. And
Yes.
so before we get started on anything, let's talk about Purple Rain. And then we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit, all right,
Yeah.
as to
Yes.
where Purple Rain was birthed from, right? So tell us, what is Purple Rain and why do people want to go and hang out there?
Why is it so awesome?
Well, nowadays, obviously, what we're doing right now, social media is huge. It's not going anywhere. A lot of times now, kids, if you see somebody out like in the streets and you're out with your family eating dinner and you see somebody trying to film social media, and if most of the reactions are making fun of, and then you like send a picture of someone like, oh, look what they're doing. But what are we doing on our phones 99.9% of the time? We're scrolling and we're looking at other people's content. So we created a safe space for people to come in. Doesn't matter what weather it is. Obviously, Texas is a little bipolar. We don't know if it's going to be 80. We don't know if it's going to be 20. It's inside. We have bathrooms that are ADA friendly as well. Obviously, that we will get into.
Yeah.
That I had a spinal cord injury. And so we made it where anyone can come in there. Wheelchair, it doesn't matter. There's no cords. It's a safe space to make content, have fun. You could run around there naked if you wanted to. We have
I
made
intend to, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
that's right.
like,
You know?
I'm-
So we just wanted it
built
to be
this place
safe.
with love.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
love is the biggest contribute for us there.
What I love about Purple Rain is that obviously Jessica and I are into taking photos. We've
Just a
done,
little.
yeah, like before we even had a
Yes.
concept for our business, we were like,
Yes.
let's do a photo shoot, you know? Like,
We
Yes.
don't even know what
we
it's
don't know what we're
for.
doing, but we're going
you
to take
get
pictures,
excited,
you know?
right?
Yeah,
But you
totally.
get the
yeah.
excitement, right?
And to your point, like all of the shoots that we've done have produced an insane amount of content for our
Yes.
business that we've used repetitively over and over again.
Mhm.
It's been worth every penny of the
Absolutely.
investment, not to mention the fact that we love these photos, right?
Absolutely right.
So what's so cool about Purple Rain is, first of all, like purple's kind of my jam right now. It's falling into my life in all of these different ways. And so that was kind of interesting. But every set there that you guys have set up is so creative, so inspiring.
Oh, thank
And like you walk in and immediately you're like lighter and oh my God, look at this. And oh my God, look at that. That I feel like so many people need it as
Yes.
like a creative refuge.
Well,
right?
Yes. There's so much crap and shit just going on in the world, right? It's even hard to watch the news because every 10 hours it changes. So it's almost like it's pointless to watch it almost on a weekly basis. We all catch up with it on Facebook and everything else. And so just like how you got excited just talking about taking photos, a lot of people don't have good photos of themselves or have a place where they can stand there. How many times do, like Kellen and I, we've been practicing, obviously we're in the older generation. We're learning TikTok, right? Okay.
Tic-tacking.
Yeah, we're
Tic-tacking.
tic-tacking. So, doing it 100 times. Do you want to do that in front of a crowd of people? Absolutely not. So that privacy to really kind of be who you want to be and produce what you want to produce, and there's no judgment.
Yeah, let me be honest. I had not done that and watched all of y'all do that multiple times and then would get up there alone and try it. And I'm talking 75
Yeah.
takes deep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And would be embarrassed of what I even tried to show myself, you know? So
Yes.
I learned then that like you have to have an environment that you feel uber comfortable in, you know, and safe.
Totally safe.
And you can lock the door. And especially if you're a female or you're doing whatever in there and you need privacy.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
like
you have
maternity,
it, you know?
boudoir,
Yeah.
you want to feel safe in doing that in there, not having to worry about like curtains or like looky-loos looking in the windows.
Yeah,
or
there's no creeps
yeah.
over there looking over you.
We've removed creeps
and
from
we've
the
and,
situation.
and doing that with Kortni and her doing her modeling thing previously, like I would go on set with her and have to run off guys and it would bother me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're doing a a car wash photo shoot or something, and there's 4 or 5 creepers over there
with their phones out.
I don't like that.
So,
So and I know that she don't like that, and then the good shot's not happening because you're hurrying to get away from whatever's happening. So we've eliminated that, and we've also made it a place where everyone can come and everyone can feel like you. My goal was to have you lose like 30 minutes as soon as you walk in the door of just a time warp as soon as you hit the door.
Oh,
It's
that's awesome.
so like that.
to feel the magic.
It's magic. It's
We have
purple
a
magic.
purple renaissance.
So we
think I
did
know
our
that.
first photo shoot outdoors. A lot of it. Well, our first 2 actually, like on the beach, and that one was a little bit awkward for sure because beach photos, you're staging it so you don't see other people. But there's
Absolutely.
obviously
Right, there's
other
so
people
many
on the
And
beach,
you're trying to do the wind and the water and the stuff. Yeah.
and all the elements. So the beach images were magic, but it was
there was a lot of time to set up and
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
And then the second shoot we did was also outside over in Inspiration Alley. So again, like great environment.
Absolutely.
But like there were people pointing and like that when you're taking photos, it draws a lot of attention,
And do you actually show your true potential taking photos, or are you being a little bit more guarded because you're being watched?
But the third one that we did here,
Yeah.
I think
Privately.
was, like really different because we were in a contained space and it was like our space because we record here and
Absolutely.
and I think that was some of the best images that we've gotten so far were when we were in our element in a safe space. Same, we didn't have to worry about people watching. There were no creepers running around. Paul was like, yeah, you guys do whatever you want to do,
Yes.
and that part of what made that shoot so great was that some of the pictures we took maybe aren't usable for what we need them for, but just the fact that we were able to like expand into every direction that we wanted to go and have the freedom to do that was really, really powerful.
It unlocks a door.
Yeah.
Right, and
Lock the door, if you will.
there were even some pictures of us here that were like borderline sexy.
Too
I love
sexy.
it.
Where I was like,
You're
damn,
allowed to be sexy.
like,
Yes.
Like
That's
out when we've done our outdoor shoots, we may have not like gone that far.
No.
But here we were okay. And at
Yes.
Purple Rain, when we do shoot there, 'cause
We're gonna shoot there next.
gonna
Like, it's
for our
happening.
next one,
Yes.
it would be kind of like the same. You
Yeah.
just feel more vulnerable and open to that
Absolutely.
experience.
So one of the things that I love so much about the 4 of us is that we all came from a beauty business background, right? And that a certain amount of doing hair and makeup is that people come to us to have their hair and makeup done before a photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times that bleeds into working on set, doing hair and
Yes.
makeup for photo shoots. And then in your case, you modeled a lot for photo shoots.
Yes.
And so learning the magic that goes into the creative aspect of doing a shoot,
It takes a team.
it really does. And that's
Yes.
what's so funny about when Jessica and I started doing photo shoots for our brand is that we did have some back knowledge that I didn't even realize that we had about how to organize looks and, have the wardrobe styling and have
lay out your outfits
yeah,
with
like
your jewelry and your
Yes.
and even knowing how to do our own hair and makeup and that shit is so much work. And
Yes.
after we did it for ourselves a couple of times, I was like, I'm ready to hire a freaking creative director
Absolutely.
to do our next shoot because the quality that you get when someone else is helping style you like that, then you can just really focus on feeling good and
Yes.
taking great images.
Absolutely.
And that's a big part of what you're doing at Purple Rain is you are like supporting people with wardrobe and creative
Absolutely.
design and giving them ideas about like posing and props and that kind of thing for someone who's done a lot of photo shoots is helpful, but so helpful for someone who's never done that before
It's
and is just trying to
overwhelming.
get a great shot,
Well, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And especially too, if you think about, the studios for creatives and business professionals and families. Okay. Well, let's just, for example, a mother of 4 is not going to want to have to worry about staging a background or worrying about any of those details. She's got 4 other people to worry about, 5, including her husband, I'm sure, trying to wrangle everyone together in normal life. It's already hard enough to schedule time to do things like this. Things, everyone is so busy. Everyone's on the go, go, go. And so if it just relieves a little bit of that pressure, instead of being like, okay, do I have this, and that? It's already there. Or it's already provided. We have photographers that are excited. We have like a list of photographers that would like to come in. Kellen I can't move things, but Kellen can move things around. So if you want to customize your own sets, like that's available as well. And we can direct it. So you can either have full creative freedom and do it all yourself, or, you can ask us anything that you want. And I feel like some of the, let's say, selfie studios out there, or even photography studios in general, they don't really have that kind of help or resource to, apply to their either clients or, photographers. Then that's a big responsibility for the photographers.
Yeah.
They're already shooting.
It's not what they're getting paid for. Like, yeah.
Well, the last photo shoot that I did a boudoir session just for myself and did it at this badass set. But like me and my photographer showed up and like it was just us. They're like, there's a key in the lockbox. Like you do everything yourself. And the photos were beautiful, but there was no creative direction or like someone to show us around or anything.
You're almost lost. And I watched her take suitcases of things out of our house that she's going to shoot with, right?
He is correct.
And get there though and be overwhelmed by everything else going on or something else, or it's hot in there or whatever, and then just miss what she was going there for.
Yeah.
But still get good shots. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, look at her, right? But
it's overwhelming though.
And then I've watched people now at Purple Rain, which I think this is important in her behalf of being a creative director, is if they come in there, they're becoming overwhelmed. So we kind of got to be like, hey, over here, and over here, and let's do this, and then kind of usher it together. So
You know what I thought about when we were talking about family photos there, right? And like doing photos with your kids there. Is like, I remember going to like the JCPenney's, photo studio. And glamour shots and stuff. And that was kind of nerve-wracking when you were a kid. It felt like a lot of pressure, right? And that I can see that kids probably take really great photos at Purple Rain because it's such a fun, creative environment, and they're excited about where they are. And so, like that puts people at ease in a really special way.
Absolutely.
So I also love this story about how you guys have transitioned from your last career into this creative space and creating the studio. And so much of that spawned off of Kortni's injury that you sustained, like a little over a year ago?
Last November, not this November, but 2021.
2020, November 15th to 2020.
Okay. So like a year.
So we're a year
and some months.
Yes.
Okay. And that being having a spinal cord injury clearly changes your whole life.
Absolutely.
So you were both hairdressers.
Yes.
Right.
We worked in the same room actually together at Ziba.
That's how we met. Yes. So hairdressers for 16 years. And I was doing my thing at Ziba, and then here come Kortni, and I was enamored by her. So quit doing what I was doing, and we kept doing hair, and we moved into a room together, and we were chugging away doing hair. And then she was unfortunately injured, but fortunately has created Purple Rain.
Yeah.
So
you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Well,
the world doesn't
blow,
stop, so you have to keep going.
And not just injured.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
like you were injured,
well,
you've had surgeries, you've been in intense physical therapy on the daily. Yes. You've learned to walk and use, your body in a way that
she is a miracle.
You really are a miracle.
Thank you.
And I will say, like, I've known Kellen for a long time, but I just met Kortni a few months ago, right?
Y'all are some kind of weird.
We are like weird sisters.
It's
kind of creepy.
I love it.
We could talk for hours about it, but we're not going to.
I've already witnessed that.
But just the change that I have seen in your progress over the last few months blows my freaking mind. That there is so much inspiration in this idea that like life handed you a shit sandwich, right? And that you decided to keep going and to stay here.
Absolutely.
Because everyone, I've known lots of people with traumatic injuries that shouldn't have made it, right?
Yes.
And that there's this switch that hits, where you decide to stay.
Perspective.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you decided to stay.
Yes.
And you've worked your way through this really intense physical process in not a very long amount of time.
Oh, I don't know how to explain it other than my therapist, the village that I have. It takes a team.
Yeah.
Just like that we were talking about teams for photo shoots. Just for me to get through my day-to-day, and for him and I have been working on Purple Rain and putting our hearts into that. That was therapy alone. It still is therapy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, me just walking around the studio is therapy. And so adding the studio in with the therapy that I have now and the therapist that I've had, thank God for the therapists I've had, and all the nurses that have been through COVID and just have been ran through the ground, and they're still working their asses off, and they literally teach humans how to walk again. Shout out De Niro. So it just, and they become your family. There are people that we have
We have a whole new group of friends
nurses
that we would have never been introduced to unless she was injured. So there's so many goods to how severely bad.
And that's what you have to pay
technically
attention
was,
to.
so.
Because again, like we were talking about earlier, there's shit every day, right? But
Everybody has
can we
trauma.
obsess about it? Can we change it? No, because it's not going to help. So you have to keep going. You have to push forward, and you have to, I don't know, you have the perspective of possibly not being here. Really, like you enjoyed the smaller things every day, the mundane things. Like getting your coffee in the morning. Like it's not. I heard this quote the other day, and this guy was talking about. You don't live on the highs of going to Mexico or your wedding or, even the lows of a funeral or getting hurt, right? Those are temporary feelings. But the everyday of how you talk to your spouse, how you have your coffee every day, the things that build up hours and hours and hours of your life, those are the things that you're going to pay attention to. And those are the small things that matter. So, I mean, everyone's like, I need a vacation. It's just so wonderful. We dwell on that week or 2 weeks or whatever that we're gone out of town. But those aren't the feelings that get you through the day to day. And so just seeing the sun and just feeling the wind and having good coffee and being with Kellen. And we're on a podcast right now. Just the cool little things that you have to pay attention to that we kind of just get desensitized to.
Mm-hmm.
We just get used to it, right? We're just get in the car. We got our coffee. We get pissed if we don't have our coffee. I mean, it's those moments that we don't pay attention to that actually kind of matter the most.
If you talk to people who are on their deathbed, that's what they talk about are the moments that they appreciated so much that were the consistent moments,
Absolutely.
And I love that that's what you're taking away from it.
Absolutely.
What I know is that you channeling this energy into, like you said, the creative project at Purple Rain. One thing that I love so much about your story is that you have this acute understanding of what it's like to have to navigate the world from a wheelchair.
Yes, absolutely right.
Having to, learn
Walker,
how to
braces.
being uncomfortable in your physical body and knowing that you're having to take these baby steps every day, but that you're still out in the world like everybody else. And that knowing the difference between what it was like before you were injured versus where you are now,
Absolutely.
that is a huge process of grief and learning.
Yes.
And that you have created Purple Rain to accommodate people who are going through this transition. And you're thinking about those things at a level that other studios probably are not thinking about them because this has been your experience.
Absolutely right.
And it's magic in there because you have thought about these things and you're making that important.
The physical people that have been hurt and the family members that have to deal with people that have been hurt. People don't understand how much that either your significant other or your family has to go through when you get hurt. Their lives change as well.
It affects everyone involved.
Absolutely right. And so, his life changed. And so him and I just kind of, we were already used to being together 24/7 doing hair. We've worked together for a very long time. And then COVID hit. So we were like, we're used to this. And then now building Purple Rain together, we're proud of it. I'm proud of him.
Same.
Yeah. So people
And we love you.
Well, people forget about the family side, the families now that we have come in contact with, and the wives and the husbands and their family members or aunts and uncles that now have to take care of them. It becomes such a big channel and such a big network that you don't even realize, and it's great. It's people that understand what you've been through. You can joke about the medicines you're on, you know. You can joke about not shitting right. I mean, sorry to be TMI, but
let it out, girl.
Whatever. So it's been such a good family building. And definitely I would say we just kind of chalk it up to what an experience. This is an experience. It's not a tragedy. We can't play it like that. You can't be victimized by it because that just eats you inside. All that does is poison you. So we're building.
Does everyone see where I channel my positivity from?
Yes. Because I'm saying, yes, you can. And lots of people do.
Absolutely.
Like,
or you can't.
right.
Yeah.
And we were told that, you know, you can lay here and rot, or
Right.
you can get up and
I was
do
told
something.
that,
you know?
nurse told me that.
And I was blown away by somebody telling me that, but the fact of being told that made she and I almost look at each other and be like, no.
Yeah.
Well, when
You know,
they're like,
no,
you're not going to
no,
walk
no.
again. I was like, are you high? What?
Yeah.
I was like, they're like, you might be in a walker in 6 months. I was like,
She
Watch
never,
Watch
she,
me,
she never
bitches.
let that be on her target or reign around that where she wasn't going to.
Wasn't even an option.
She was going to.
Yeah. So,
That's incredible.
yeah.
thank you.
And I got to keep going back to like, what is short amount of time we're talking about, you know, like, because
Therapist
for the kind of injury
push
that you
me.
had,
Yes.
the fact that you're getting around as well as you are right now is just, you're a freaking miracle. And
Well,
I'm so
thank you.
proud of what
lots
you
of
guys
Botox
are doing.
in
Yeah.
the leg,
Yeah.
lots of therapy. Those ladies know, and the whole team knows what they're doing. They need more credit. And they should be paid like $1 bazillion dollars because they literally
course.
taught me to like almost be a human again.
Mm-hmm.
So
And when I would get to my wits end and where I was just at ground zero, I could go and she could go there and I knew she was safe.
Yeah.
And I could let go and I could go and do a jog or go ride with Aubrey or do
Mhm.
something that I needed to do because my soul, like she said, everybody's hurt in this situation.
Right.
I was devastated,
Yeah.
and needed help myself. And that allowed me to take time that she couldn't deal with my crap. And I'm an emotional creature.
one of my favorite things about you.
I couldn't, and I couldn't let her have that weight on top of dealing with this injury. So those ladies that I praise, you need your tire, I'll do anything. For any of those women. Call me, like,
yeah.
so I love y'all if you're listening because made a huge difference. In my
Yeah.
life.
Well, and the recovery process is a family
yes.
situation. And like you said, the family grows and it gets bigger.
It
and
does.
more expansive.
Yes.
Well, what I love about what you're saying is like, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anyone super close to me or in my family that has like a physical traumatic injury or anything, but I am really passionate about diversity in all forms. And I follow this couple that have a YouTube channel and they're an interabled couple. And the husband's in the wheelchair and the wife is not. And they just talk about everything.
Yeah,
that,
They get real
I mean,
about
they get-
all the questions.
Oh, I
you
love
know?
that.
all the
Yeah.
questions that people want to know, they talk about. But what I love about what you're saying is that those people deserve to feel free and sexy and
Yes.
beautiful in those bodies
Yes.
as well. And I just love that Purple Rain is a safe space and an accessible space
Yes.
to that. Because I know a lot of places that wouldn't be accessible. And it's like, well,
Yes.
too bad your wheelchair can't come in here
That's
and
right.
you can't
Or
do
it
your
doesn't
boudoir
fit.
session and you
Yeah.
can't
Or
do
there's
whatever.
cords.
As a man and as a husband and being on the other side of the injury, I made sure with my dad and I and my whole crew that we built that place around love, but B around a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can transfer from whatever you need to from your wheelchair in there. The bathrooms are accessible. You get out on whatever side you want to get out on. It don't matter.
Well, and I
what's
still
in
have to
there.
even keep my wheelchair up there because sometimes I have to use it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My legs get tired. My leg starts to cramp if I've been up there for like 2 or 3 hours. And so I still even keep mine up there. So God forbid, say if someone needed to sit down or start to use one, we have one up there available as well.
Right.
So, we want you to feel like to have fun. The
Yes.
whole
That's so
point.
cool.
It
you
doesn't
know?
matter who you are
Yeah.
or what shape you're in or whatever you can throw at me. Soon as you hit those doors,
Mhm.
I have
I
30
got
minutes.
you.
I have 30 minutes of your time work for you.
Yes.
Maybe an hour. I don't know.
Well,
We've lost lots of
we've lost lots of time there. And that's one of the
Yes.
things that I love about it.
In a
is
good
that,
way.
Yeah, you go there and time does kind of cease to
Yes.
exist.
doesn't
And
exist.
it's like this magical portal into this creative wonderland kind of thing.
Well, here's your Disney kid.
I know,
You know what
right?
I mean, here's the influence because
The Disney princess, like,
Disney.
yeah.
Because if I would have had Disney's budget, let me tell you. You know,
Let
like,
me tell
that
you.
13 billion a day, it might have looked a tad bit different.
Totally.
But, we're working on it.
So on the front with Purple Rain,
Mm-hmm.
that it also is this creative space,
Mhm.
right? And we've started using it recently to facilitate breath work.
Yep.
Yes, it's been amazing. We had breath work yesterday. with Miss Lori.
This
Oh my
is
God.
your second breathwork
Yes.
session, right?
Space cadet.
Yes.
I have spilled so much stuff this morning and last
Good
night,
boy.
and I'm just
Yes.
a
I
little
was shocked that you guys
sloppy.
agreed to do this interview because I've done breath work. I've lost count of how many times I've done a breath work session, and I'll eventually be facilitating with Laurie. It's just, my life is insane right now. But with all that being said, I was shocked when you guys agreed to do this the morning after a breathwork session, because I was like, are they going to be in process? Like,
Yes,
is this an
they are.
okay
I think-
situation?
And so am I.
I think the
Yeah,
best
so
thing
wait till
about
I
it
watch
is-
this later and I'm going to be like, oh, I
No.
did it on
Yeah, you'll be
camera.
fine.
I think the best part of it is I'm 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
And especially now in a raw form that I'm not normally in.
Yeah.
You know, or I might be a little more guarded to talk to you or let my
Mhm.
little whatever I want to
Well,
show
your
you
heart
out.
chakra is probably all open and bleeding
Well, we
everywhere.
hadn't really been, I mean, this last year, we really hadn't been publicly seen, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We kind of reclused a little bit. I'm sure
She needed
part
to
of
have
it
a
was my
rebirth,
fault.
you know?
Yeah.
You know, when it happens to you, you don't want people to see you and give you like the pity hug, and you know you're sitting in your chair and they give you the sit down hug.
Sit
and,
down hugs are bad, by the
you
way.
know.
Everybody needs a
And
stand up of some
so-
sort hug.
You know, so it was different, and I didn't know how to be seen. You know, and I really couldn't go anywhere in my wheelchair. I did go to Sephora once, and the girls had seen me come in there previously, and I was just wheeling around, and it was just a different experience. And so I took that experience, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna work on myself physically and mentally, and then when I feel comfortable, could come out. And so this is actually probably one of the first times, besides just doing social media, you know,
Yeah.
showing yourself on a whatever Instagram post. And so this is actually probably one of the first, we'll say, public views.
Getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Here's
you've
the
invited
world.
people into your space for the breath work.
Right.
Yes.
It's well, because breathwork has this rebirthing capacity to
Yes.
it every time you
Yes.
do it anyway. And what's so funny about, you know, like me knowing Kellen and us having not seen each other in over a decade, but having like the social media thread in there
Yes.
is like we knew what the other one was up to, obviously,
Yes.
as much as you put out on social media
That's
anyway.
exactly right.
I hung out with
Um,
your husband a lot. so I
Right.
just
And
never got
Kellen
to talk
rides
to
with
you.
Aubrey
Yeah.
all the time, but we don't ever hardly ever see each other.
Yeah.
But that Spirit knows.
Sure.
And Spirit brought us back together
I missed
in this
you.
way. I missed you too.
Yeah.
And that what I was doing was trying to like develop things in my healing career that could become a consistent, you know, like
Absolutely.
opportunity for me to work with
Mhm.
people. And then breathwork came into the picture with Eva. And I was like, and once I started training and learning to do it, I knew that I needed to find a place that was like my breathwork home where I was going to
Mhm.
do that regularly. And, you know, like I've done it at yoga studios and that works, but is also kind of a different vibe.
Yes.
And I love doing it in yoga studios. And I want to do breathwork for a different kind of client too. I want
Yes.
to invite in
Absolutely.
a different, because in a yoga studio, everybody there is really familiar
Yeah.
with healing and wellness and meditation
I was
and
about
those
to
kinds of
say,
things, right?
Yoga clients are, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I am one of these clients,
Totally,
but
same.
like they have like an elite or like a
I wouldn't have gone to a yoga class and done it.
right,
Right.
like
You know,
you
and
wouldn't go to a
Mhm.
yoga
No.
studio,
Mhm.
right?
No.
And
Like,
that
you
a
kinda
lot-
gotta be in the crowd to
It's almost
go.
exclusive.
It's
Yeah.
exclusive.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Mhm.
And that I know that people who go to yoga regularly in a studio get exposed to things like breath work and meditation on a really broad scale, right?
Yes.
But a lot of the people I know from the salon world, from the
Mhm.
creative world, you know, and just in a certain, I don't know, like dynamic of the way that we are,
Absolutely.
we didn't get exposed to this stuff the
Mhm.
way that I am now, and that it's changed my life, and that I want to offer this opportunity to heal and this medicine to as many people as possible. So when I came to Purple Rain the first time and I saw it, and then I saw the back room where we've
Oh,
been
you're
doing
like,
breath
"I'm
work,
home."
like I was like, thank you.
I love
Thank
that.
you for the alignment of bringing all these things together. Because having the professional space in the back, which is something that, you know, like if you were, I love the idea of like a business owner wanting to have a, you know, like quarterly meeting there or
Absolutely.
whatever.
Or
and
Greek
then,
life even.
Yeah.
Just having their meetings as well.
and then after the meeting, well, then everybody can run out in the studio
That's
and go have
exactly
fun.
right.
Like it's just such a
Mhm.
great venue.
It breaks
for,
it all up.
Yeah. That why would you go to Dave and Buster's or why would you go anywhere, you know, to
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
that? Like this is such a great idea for that. but the vibe in there is so clean. And like you said, when you're choosing a place to do breath work in, you can't just do it anywhere, like it has to be
You're
somewhere
in a vulnerable state.
yeah,
so it
grounded
can't just be.
in love.
Yes.
And that's how you guys built this place, and inclusivity, and it being so open for everyone. And when people walk in, that they have that immediate, like, oh my gosh, experience.
It is that feeling.
It is. And it's so potent and powerful for a breathwork experience. I want to hear, because Jessica and I, like I said, we've done it a lot, but I want to hear from you guys, like, what has your experience been of doing breathwork? Because last night was your second session that you've done in about a month.
First.
Mm.
I'll let Billy go first.
Lori and I have been friends for probably 16 plus years now. And she's always been about spiritual medicine. And I knew that about her. But there was a part of me as a man and being Mr. Tough, and we're going to go ride bikes, that I would listen to her and then not really. Okay. So she invited me to listen to one of the things that she recorded for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I had it for what, a month?
That was your intuitive healing session that I sent you.
I would
and
ask,
you didn't
I'd be like,
listen
have
to
you
for a
listened to
month.
it?
Yeah.
So like one day Courtney was at therapy.
I was like, please listen to it.
Courtney's at therapy and I was just sitting there and I wanted to listen to my headphones. I'm a music. Audio for me works. If I can listen to it, I'm praise be. So I start, getting my stuff together and I listen to this audio session and immediately it came over me and the feelings that I had, and I wanted to be a part of this magic, and I could feel the magic inside of me. And I'm going to reference Courtney saying, as a kid, she thought about any movie. I wanted to be the kid that talked to the animals in the movie or whatever.
I was calling me out. I wanted to be the nature kid, Joe Young.
But what I'm saying is as my own self, as I felt that inside of me always, where I knew that there was something inside of me that needed a little bit more other than what I had spiritually. And so we do the breath work, and I had a rough.
Your first breathwork session was intense.
Rough one, and I went into it with no
expectation
at all, zero. And the first probably 15 minutes, I'm just vibing with the music and enjoying this, and then it almost entered the room without me even willingly accepting what was going to happen. And so I was scared. I was like shaking right now talking about it. Like I was terrified. And so terrified enough to where I got up and left. And I don't know if
in the middle of the breathwork session, I was like,
she's asked people in the beginning, like, please don't,
you need to stay in the room.
Exit,
and you're like,
me,
peace.
I'm done, because I'd had personally enough already at that point, which I thought, we're done, good. I saw that. Cool. We're out. I went to my little peaceful corner of Purple Rain that I find comfortable and was sitting there and closing my eyes, and then here Mama Lori appears above me, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm not going back in there.
Well, hell no. I'm not doing that.
Because I'm an emotional person, and I feel so much. So I could feel the pain that was in the room, and I already have enough, so I didn't want any more, but she looked at me dead in my eyes and just said, you need to go in there and you need to finish this. And so I did, and I laid down, and they coached me through it, and it was rough, and I cried hard. Yeah. But the feeling I had getting up from that was the first time in my life, 36 years of being on this planet and being an adult and trying to figure this out, that I could take a breath and feel my own ribs open up and be like, wow, this is what it's like to have space inside of me, So, okay, that was incredible. So I went just days and days on a high from that, whether I be crying or pissed or whatever
we
was
missed
happening.
appointments,
Yeah, we missed our passport.
Being in process is rough sometimes.
Important appointments just ghosted them.
Yeah.
And so the second one, I went in with expectations, but same thing. I was laying there last night and was, this is great, blah, blah, blah. And then it was almost like this cold air hit the room. And I was like, no. But, I had control last night. I had an amazing time last night. I feel even more like I have even more space inside of me. So today's a good day. Yeah, I'm a space cadet.
What I love so much about your reflection on breathwork, though, is that a lot of people, I feel like, don't talk about the being scared sometimes,
Right.
and that it does bring up parts of you that you have chosen not to look at for a very long time.
And something that I didn't even actually know.
Yeah, well, and things that you've never identified or put any like face or name or feeling to. And when you're in that container and it comes up, that shit is terrifying sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what breathwork facilitators are there for, is to help guide you through those processes.
Like I told you this, and I even told you this last night, not wanting to talk about myself, which is unusual. I wanted you to come around me and touch me and be around me. And in your presence there is such a peace. And you yourself do amazing work. And I'm so grateful to be your friend.
Well, I
and have what
appreciate
you-
that.
And be a part.
Wonderful.
And be a part of this, because I'm telling you now, and I'll be a strong advocate for you. You already see me.
I've
hooking
seen you
them left
advocate,
and
girl.
right. People need to know. This could change so many aspects of people's lives,
Yeah.
whether you're dealing from addiction, which I've suffered from, and gone back and forth with things. So this is a game changer. This is an antipsychotic drug. This is without even taking anything. This is your own self getting in there and facing the mirror.
Totally.
And people don't want to do it.
Mhm.
And I
And that's
didn't-
okay.
I
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah. It's
and
not for
I-
everybody.
And
Yeah.
I don't. And it took me up until now. So yes, I'm high on the fact that this is working for me, but it is.
I will say, thank you for saying that.
Sure. What's
What's
the truth?
magic about breathwork, though, is that I am only being guided by spirit. So
I know that you say that,
being
but
a
your
channel
presence
for those
is
things, yeah,
amazing,
like, and
though.
that's and what I know about what made me good in the salon business, working with young hairdressers coming up for
Right.
20 years, was that I'm good at being guided by spirit.
Yeah.
I allow it to move through me, and it has more accuracy in supporting people than Laurie on her own accord ever would, you know? And that is actually a huge sense of freedom for me,
Right.
because I don't have the answers. I don't know
Right.
what people
Yeah.
need, you know, like,
Yeah.
and that in the breathwork container, and we talk about this a lot, right? That you feel like, as a facilitator, you feel no pain in there.
Yeah.
Like, you are kind of superhuman in a lot of ways. And I definitely noticed that the next morning when I wake up and I'm like, what the hell did I do last night? You know, like,
Mhm.
because in that state, things feel really, really different. But breathwork is as close to a, you know, like, euphoric drug-like experience
Mhm.
as I've ever had not on drugs.
100%.
And
Same.
It creates profound, massive shifts in your awareness that allow you to heal shit that's really been hurting you for a long time.
or that you have
Absolutely.
no clue about.
Most of the time you don't, because your
Or
body protects you from that. And it's
whatever
like, shove it down, shove it down, you know?
centuries.
Like,
Well, when do you have a
whatever.
vulnerable space to really let go like that,
Mhm.
truly let go like that? And sometimes, like you said, you have a good time. Sometimes it's maybe more painful. But really, when do we have those times? What, are you going to go hide in the closet? You know, depending on how much you're really willing to let go and really willing to, you know, divulge to either your significant other or just in general.
Right.
Just like some people are like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to.
and people
Investigate
cry
it.
usually. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know what I
Sometimes-
mean? So
Sometimes
it's a
I'm a
safe
crier,
space.
but sometimes crying don't solve this either.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
because I could have let it out a million times, but letting it out in that space, and, you know, obviously I've exited when I'm not supposed to. So I've seen
It was all
Lori
pot.
doing what
Wow.
she's doing. And like she said, like, not knowing what she did the night before, like, Lori doesn't even seem to appear the same person while that is going on.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a reason for that.
Because
yeah.
I've like got up and looked around and I'm like, that's not Mama Lori.
What's going
You know
on?
what I mean? But
Yeah.
the
And I
fact
was like,
is,
oh, good, she's got him.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
Don't worry. But
Yeah.
the fact is it's special and it means something, and people need to hear about this.
It needs to be more accessible,
Yeah.
for sure. The breath work in general. I mean, I hate that I went so long in my life without
Girl,
even
Same.
knowing it.
But you don't know what you don't know.
you don't. And
You
that's
know?
what's so exciting, though, about what we're doing.
Mhm.
Because it's not just about, like, what's happening at Purple Rain with breathwork is different than other breathwork sessions. And I will say this with all the love, right? I'm so excited that
Mhm.
we've got, like, Monica Kreider's breathwork sessions at the Center for Healing Arts. And then I'm so excited that we have Purple Rain sessions that are
Mhm.
going on with me, because it's going to give people
Accessible.
different opportunities to try different medicines. So, like, some of the people that came last night to Purple Rain, I was giving them information on Monica's breathwork, that she does shamanic breathwork at the Center for Healing Arts, because I want them to experience it from all these different
Oh yeah,
perspectives.
Monica's
Monica's
is
the
like
jam.
completely
Yeah,
different.
like, so good.
completely different.
And that is raising the collective vibration and like healing ourselves in the world in a really profound way. And that what makes what we're doing so special at y'all's place isn't just me. It's Purple Rain too, you know, like that venue is part of what's creating the magic. And so this alchemy and this collaboration and this opportunity to do this like this, we did not make this happen. You know, like this was a part of a bigger plan that's coming together, that's allowing us to provide this opportunity for people to heal and shift their lives, you know?
I needed it now, but I couldn't have been open to that prior to this situation.
Right.
Or because I go to therapy. I pay a therapist, Miss Angie Hesselbrock. I love you. Thank you. I'm sure she feels the same way.
Oh, yeah.
I pay for therapy there, but this was a whole different note, you know, but I had been doing that, but until her being heard and our life having this a complete change, then was I ready for this type of help.
Yeah.
You know, and just so happens but like you're talking about Monica's, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what it's like.
No, you're going to have to go to Monica's.
I feel like ours is off the chain.
Yeah.
You know? So
But it's all about perspective.
Exactly.
It is.
Perspectives.
And it's so...
I can't even imagine what I'm saying. If that level's here, then
well, and what's
she's
cool
so awesome over there.
is that Monica was doing consistent breathwork sessions that I was going to, but she personally was like, God, I really need to breathe. And I want to keep doing this, but I need to like take care of myself also.
Yes.
And so when I started, you know, doing it, and then we set up this situation to do it at Purple Rain once a month, she and I were like, oh, this is a trade situation, girl, where I go to her sessions and breathe, and now she's going to come to these sessions, and that it's so great. It's great medicine, you know. Absolutely. And then, you know, Red Fox has had an opportunity to do it at all of them.
Red Fox.
Yeah.
The jam.
And so, you know, Red Fox and Monica are both in Costa Rica with us. And that it's creating this team of a healing container that is rocking what's going on in Fort Worth.
I love it.
I was just telling them, I don't even think I've told you, maybe I did tell you, I don't know if I've even told Jessica, that I met this really cool chick named Suzanne at Monica's Breathwork on Friday night. And she moved here from, I think she was like in Bali for a few years, and then she lived in Sri Lanka for a while, and now she lives in Fort Worth. And I was like, why Fort Worth? You know, like, and
you've lived all these,
she's traveled all these amazing places, you know, and she's like this stunning, gorgeous goddess of a, you know, like she's a healer. As soon as I saw her, I was like, we're friends, you know? And she was like, there's something happening here. I was called here. Like, there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why you and I met tonight. Like and that she was supposed to be like 3 other places on Friday night for breathwork. Like she was supposed to be in Dallas doing this, or in Grapevine doing that, and that she just decided not to do any of those things and didn't know how she was going to find childcare to come to Fort Worth, but it all just kind of worked out. And so that there's something happening in this part of Texas that is drawing people of this vibration there. And it's part of why we're all able to create the things that we are. And it's just so good for the community. And I'm so excited that you guys are a part of it.
Too.
Yeah.
I love Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Funky Town is the best, man. Yeah.
I think that, and coming from a hairdresser's perspective, you know, I've been making friends with Gino Chapman lately out in LA, and I've hopefully, fingers crossed, gotten him to agree to come here.
He's coming.
And teach a class, but on the Fort Worth side, because I was like, everyone goes to freaking Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of Dallas.
Yeah,
Sorry, Dallas. Love you. But like,
I feel that.
Yeah.
Things need to be happening in Fort Worth and bringing all sorts of magic here.
Fort Worth has such from the music scene that's building here to everything. Fort Worth has so much to offer.
And we're not just cowboys.
No,
you know,
that's cool.
People think
that's
of like out of town, right? People still think that like we ride horses everywhere. And we're and everyone wears cowboy hats. And then what's funny, when you come to Texas, you don't see any of that unless you go to the stockyards, you know, or take your ass out to the country, which no one's going to do really, because then you're just driving around someone's, you know, back roads and you're not really seeing anything. But it's funny how that's all condensed just kind of like to the stockyards, but then everyone else just thinks we're all cowboys.
Well, I love this vibe of like redefining the perspective of Texas and Fort Worth specifically, and elevating this vibration. You guys are putting so many beautiful things out into the
Oh,
world.
thank
It
you.
is my
Yes,
honor to watch you do it.
Oh, well, thank you.
And
Thank you for
same.
having us. Oh, my
Same.
God.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
if you guys haven't checked out Purple Rain, we're going to put all the links in the episode notes. So you can hit their website. You can book an appointment so you and your friends and family can go do a shoot there.
We just launched our campaign video today.
Oh my
actually, on
God,
Instagram.
guys.
Check it out.
It is so sick.
Yes,
I saw it
so-
yesterday.
So proud.
And if you're
Yes.
interested in experiencing breathwork at Purple Rain, you
Yes.
can also go to their website because there's tickets there, and we're going to do a monthly session every
Yes.
month.
March 27th.
March
right?
27th
March
is the next
27th.
one. Yeah,
The
It's gonna
tickets
be-
will be live today.
today.
and
Yes.
it's going to be selling out. So I promise you.
Dude, we got close to a
you
sellout last
wanna
night. Like,
take
yeah.
Yeah.
you will be missing out if
Yes.
you do not get your ticket.
Yeah.
The
I
March
promise.
27th one is going to be potent because that's like
Yeah.
literally 4 days after I get home from Costa Rica.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like
yes.
your girl's going to be flying on a beach
I
high when
love
I
that.
get there. So,
I can't wait, but
It's so
A little
good.
bit, a little
Oh,
nervous.
no.
so yeah, definitely check out Purple Rain. Share this episode with anybody that you think might be interested in it. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.